Oh my God. I can't even with you.
I don't know if I can sit. What's up?
I can't with you. We'll put her on
I'll change. I'll go do my hair and makeup.
Welcome back to Frederick Advice Givers, episode 199. So this is the last official episode of Frederick Advice Givers. It's kind of bittersweet. It's been 4.5 years, and we've had some highs and lows, ups and downs, great episodes. Got to meet some awesome people. So this episode to me is very special because I get my dear friend Annie Main, who I've known Annie for 12, 13 years. You know, I was drawn to Annie just because of how professional she was, how awesome she was. And she at the time was doing photos and started out. And Annie and I, you know, to be honest with you, we were probably one of the first ones around that started using professional photography. Annie has been not only a key member of what we do for our clients, but a dear friend too. So I got Annie on here, and Annie has recently partnered with Ellie Hottel, Blue Ridge Interiors. And Ellie, if you've ever met her, she is this boisterous. Her personality just lights up a room. We love Ellie because she bounces off Annie. Ellie comes in on our occupied properties, does our consults for us. Just is awesome to have on our team. I'm glad Annie introduced me to Ellie. And we just really, work together. So I know that's a really long intro for episode 199, but I had to give you the backstory because these two people are very special to me. So I'm gonna start with Ellie. So give me your backstory. Where'd you grow up? Kids, family, give us who you are.
So I was born in Alaska.
Okay.
Raised in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah. Fairbanks, Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah. Raised mainly in Oregon. Moved to Washington most recently before moving to the East Coast, and have always been into decorating, design, always loved it. Married 2 amazing boys. Yeah.
Tell me your journey to staging, interior design, interior stylist. How did that happen?
So my parents say it started when I was very young. My mom says I left the house with an inch of paint on the walls of my room and layers of upholstery on my furniture in my room, and I would literally work just to save up enough money for a gallon of paint so I could see what it looked like on the wall. Okay. I started staging as a junior in high school, my first internship, and started decorating right after I got out of college. So
Awesome. Annie?
Yes.
Give us your backstory. Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Wisconsin, like Mary Lou.
ML?
Yeah. And moved around a little bit and ended up in Frederick County, and I think it was 84.
Okay.
And then been here pretty much ever since, a couple little stops in Kansas and one in California. And then was married, came back, had a child, and divorced, got remarried to somebody I've known since I think we figured it out as 11 or 12.
Okay.
So we've been married, it'll be 5 years this year.
Let me go into the meat of the interview.
Okay, well then let me get comfortable for this. Okay, all right. Okay, ready?
So you've been doing this professionally for 12, 13, 14 years. Mm-hmm. You've been doing this since you came out of the womb, apparently. And you're both entrepreneurs. You're both very successful. Annie's got a waiting list of potential realtors that would like to hire her. Annie doesn't sacrifice her work, sticks on 1 to 2 a day, and when people ask me, why do your photos look so good? I say, I really don't know. I know Annie spends a lot of time editing, overlays, underlays, and this on top of that. I really don't know. I just know when I get the photos back, they're fucking phenomenal.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all I need to know. So what advice would you give somebody just starting out? It could be in your field or in entrepreneurship in general. Why don't you go first, Annie?
I would say align yourself with people that are good, that are strong and business-minded and positive, rooted in the community. The people you align yourself with, I feel like, they're the ones that are going to push you and help open doors as well. So I would say make sure that you get in with a reputable crowd, whoever it is in your field.
Right.
and
Yeah, I
go
know
from there.
You and I are always talking. You're like, well, I want to do this, and if we can do the initial photo, I'm like, Annie, I really don't care. You know, I trust you. Like, you are way
It's
more.
been a long time too, though.
Yeah,
I don't know
know
if it was always like that, but
It's been, yeah.
I don't know. I remember plenty of shoots where you were following me from corner to corner.
I just like to talk to you behind the camera.
Not that it was.
Distract.
Ellie, what advice would you give to somebody just starting out in entrepreneurship?
Very similar. I think that's why Annie and I synced up so well from the beginning, was because that same mindset I am constantly working towards, captivating completely, because I did feel like when I started, I did compromise a little bit with who I would work with just because I wanted to get in the field so bad.
Right.
But ultimately, it's never worth that. Only work with people you want to work with, because ultimately you need to enjoy what you're doing and be good at it. And if you're working with people that you don't want to work with, it's going to affect your craft. Half my business is design and half of it is staging. So those design clients, you can be with a client for years because it's so involved. It's such a process. However, staging is that instant gratification. That's why I love it. It's wonderful to see a result that quickly, but that's part of it too. If you don't have the right people around you, what you do doesn't show up as well. Pictures of stages I do that Annie doesn't shoot are never as successful, really. So making sure that you look good with the people that you're around is important.
Awesome. All right, so let's take this back on a personal level. Ellie, you go first. So what's the last purchase that you splurged on for yourself or your family?
Splurges are always travel.
Good.
Yeah, we love to travel.
Where was the last place you went? What do you have coming up?
So the last place we just got back from Bolivia, we took the boys to Bolivia.
I don't think I knew that.
Middle of the jungle, and visited. My sister lives there with her husband. We try to make every trip something that's gonna show them a bigger picture than just Frederick.
So your last splurge for yourself or your family?
We went to Safeway.
In Middletown? Or did you go over the mountain to make the one in Frederick?
We didn't even go over the mountain.
No,
we
you just stayed right in Middletown?
Here. Yes. No, I would say the same thing. Splurging, I would say traveling. And I can't think of the last place
Well,
that
you do your concerts.
actually went.
You
well,
go out west once a year, twice a year?
when I get a break.
Well, yeah,
When my agents leave me alone.
which is never. So I'll start back with you, Annie. Being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
what is that drive inside of you that keeps you going? Because I know, you and I have talked about it. Like, you go in a house and, the houses look the same. Like, what's that motivation? Like, I can pull up to a house and figure out if it's this layout of a townhouse or that layout of a rancher or a split foyer, and you got your bedroom here and your bathroom there. Like, all your photos have a unique distinction. I always talk about the property stories, like bringing emotion to life within the house. I know that's kind of a roundabout way to ask you, what motivates you to do what you do every day?
Who I do it for? Well, no, I think it's the whole big picture. Okay. That I know somebody is trying to make a major change in their life, and they're trying to move on usually to something better, or if they're older, maybe they're downsizing and they're going to something smaller, which still is better. So I think in the big picture, I just like being a part of that whole process for somebody's life. Mm-hmm. And then I would say my agents. I'm professionally, very involved with them, but I can't think of a client that I have that I'm not a really good friend with too. Right. So on both levels, I enjoy making the sellers happy with the pictures and happy with the process that the agent is offering them. I like being personally involved in that process, and then I like knowing that I helped the agent actually do something that helps that seller. Cool. So I would say it's the sellers and the agents, because you're right, all of the houses are the same. I mean, other than a custom home, I've probably photographed almost every layout available in our area.
Right.
So aside from furniture and wall color and stuff like that, everything is kind of the same. So it really boils down to the sellers, the owners, and the agents that I work for.
Okay. Now, you gave Annie a shout out with her photos looking amazing. So tell us, and we have multiple stagers, to be honest with you, that we work with. So let's just talk about the importance of staging or having an interior designer come in. Like, how much better do the houses show when you bring somebody professionally in to help out?
Well, they're 10 times better.
Right.
Because usually, if one of my clients is working with a seller and they are open to having a stager come in or a designer, then they are willing to do the work. So the houses have been decluttered, things have been organized, furniture is in a placement, like with Ellie, she kind of knows where I'm going to shoot from, so she knows where to put a huge chair, not in the corner because I can't move it, and then I can't get that shot. So this staged homes just look better. I could take pictures all day of something that looks like crap, and it's just going to look like a quality picture of crap. But if I go out and I shoot after Ellie or somebody else, then it's a quality picture of something that actually looks good. And so I feel like my picture really can only be as good as what I'm being given to photograph. And when I follow Ellie, it's always good because she knows what it is that I need to make it look good.
All right, Ellie, so what is that motivating factor for you? What keeps you going and you're driving the motor? Because most of, probably half of your business is down in Virginia, right? Northern Virginia.
Yeah, DC
And then
area,
we're
yeah.
kind of trying to transition you here to Frederick County more so you don't have to drive all the way down the road. So what's that motivating factor that keeps you going?
So for design and staging, it's different.
Okay.
For design, I love the opportunity to let a family actually express themselves in their house instead of just have a Pottery Barn house or what they think is a unique thing to them, but really doesn't show who they are.
Right.
So I love when I can let them see their personal style after working together instead of them thinking that they like some particular thing, but really it wasn't them. They just thought that was a trend or something that they were attracted to. So I love seeing that a home can be so personal and cozy and not cookie cutter, but still really classic and tasteful. I love that opportunity. Kids' rooms, especially in that regard, when you get to know a child through their parents' eyes and letting them be in an environment that they're going to grow up into and continue to be creative in their own ways, and giving them that is such a privilege.
I totally just heard my stomach growl. Oh, sorry everybody if you hear that. All right, I'm sorry for the interruption.
We're getting kind of hungry. We should have done this over breakfast or something. For staging, interesting. I hadn't thought about it before. I think it's the challenge. I like to win over the client. I like to see how far I can push it. I like that, the psychology of it, kind of getting to know them and seeing how far and of course I need input from the agent to know how far I can push initially, but then seeing that sometimes it's even a little further, and that ultimately you are facilitating this huge move in their life and this huge transition. Sometimes it's a happy one, sometimes it's a difficult one for them, but making it easier on them and helping them through it instead of just being, dictatorial. It's a pretty cool job. It's a pretty cool job.
Awesome. All right, so you guys are the final 199. I love learning, asking, hearing stories about people, what motivates them. So I want you each to, I flip the script, it's called Flip the Script. So I want you to ask me a question. Can be anything that's
Appropriate.
That's appropriate. So,
I don't know why he looks at me like that either. I'm the most appropriate one.
You go first, Ellie.
So you're so passionate about what you do. When Annie introduced us, I was really intrigued by how you operate just as an individual. The whole not playing your cards close to you. You're very open. You want to learn from people. You want to teach others.
Right.
That's unique, instead of wanting to keep your secrets to yourself. You know what I mean? So obviously you throw yourself into what you do, but you also really value family. I little texts in our threads and stuff of hey, no, if it's gonna mess with your family time, no, let's push that back. It's obviously extremely important to you to have that balance. So what was the journey of figuring out how to be passionate about what you do, but still prioritize family life?
I think they kind of go hand in hand. That family's number one. Knowing that time is precious. I remember literally taking Anthony into the bank with me, when he was a baby in the carrier. He would go around Frederick with me. I would set him up on the top, and people would see him. And now he's going into high school next year, and Olivia's going into college next year, and it's just that time is really fast. It is really fast, and I spend time coaching my kids soccer and basketball, and I do it because I know those times aren't going to be there. So yeah, You tell me, hey, I've got my daughter's recital, or I've got this, or fuck it, that comes first. Houses are always going to be here. Staging is always going to be here. Photos are always, you and I are always talking like we'll wake up in the morning and it's cloudy and okay, let's push it back. Okay, we'll have to push it back. And the seller just has to understand that, hey, we're not going to give you the best product because of conditions that we don't have control over.
Right. That's because you lay the groundwork. You let them know right up front.
Correct.
That weather is going to play a role in it.
Correct. Well, what I kind of say is, that's kind of my spiel. Okay, I've been married for 17 years. I just do whatever my wife says. So when we bring a stager in, or we bring Annie in, the photographer, like we just do whatever she says. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of an open book. I've had agents or friends, or we have a mutual friend, Barry Weller, that asks me questions like, he'll call me up. Why are you doing this, or what would you do here, or what would you price this house at? And I've learned that there's enough business to go around. Trish Mills, Marla Johnson, my former partner, like they're all open to giving us feedback. I feel it's only necessary to help others, help others. And I don't help everybody because some people are assholes. But if they're good people, yeah. If they do a good job, number one, if they take care of their clients, is the question meant to help the client? So yeah, family's number one. Like that's because as Zach, you know what I've been through. You don't know how long people are going to be around. So ask me a question, Annie.
All right. Do you want the first, middle, or last?
We'll go middle, last, first.
Okay. Middle, last. Okay. If you could choose one song to play for the rest of your life every time you entered a room, what song would you pick? When
Justin, my cousin, passed away from throat cancer, we went out to California for his ceremony. He was a big Grateful Dead fan, and it was they played Grateful Dead, but like the marching in or coming in or whatever was Ripple from Grateful Dead. I don't know if that'd be from me, but that's kind of appropriate.
The last question was, if you could, I hope I get it right. If you had the option to fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized
actually,
horses.
this was a question.
Was it?
Somebody asked this question before. Yes.
Okay.
Who was that guy? It was. Oh my God! It was
I'm not gonna put you on the spot. It was memorable guest, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was extremely memorable. It was. He was hilarious. It was like around episode 120. Oh my God! It's a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, what was your answer?
It was one.
One.
Yeah, it was one. It's because they pick at your feet and they get you. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, but if it was 100 duck-sized horses,
yeah,
then they'd be kicking you and stuff.
They might.
Instead of a big old duck, we're like, wah!
Last question. Which is the first question?
If you opened the freezer and found a penguin, what would you do?
Wow. If I opened the freezer,
that's a stumper.
Found a penguin.
It's a trick question.
I would probably wonder what kind of drugs I was on.
That was some
and
good
ask where Annie was.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I'll shut the door.
I wonder how I got there.
We blame it on Sumart.
Yeah, we blame it on Sumart.
Love you, Sumart.
Awesome. All right, guys. So let's end up this episode.
Okay.
Tell our listeners, viewers, how they would get a hold of you, find out more about your work. I know you're more prevalent on Instagram as opposed to Facebook. You're on both. If they wanted to learn, if they wanted design, or if they wanted staging, or do you want to give a shout out about graduation photos? You want to stay away from that? Because I know you do some a little bit, but I'll let you decide. So Elle, you go first.
I think he moved on because I was giving him the devil eyes right there.
How would we get a hold of you?
BlueRidgeInteriors.com or Blue Ridge Interiors on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but I haven't kept up with the page for years, so that's how you'll actually find me.
Awesome.
I am amarieimagery.com, and my phone number is 240-285-0069, and Instagram is the same. I'm not very good with Instagram, but I'm pretty sure it's Amarie Imagery.
So most of your clients come from your agents, but sometimes you have sellers reach out to you directly, right?
Yes.
So how would they get a hold of you?
The same way, my phone number or Annie at amarieimagery.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Listeners, viewers, I hope you enjoyed this episode with my friends Ellie Hottel with Blue Ridge Interiors and my dear friend. Not that Ellie's not, but I've known her a lot longer.
It's been a long road.
Annie Main with A. Marie Imagery. Episode 199. I'll be back for the final episode 200, kind of giving you a synopsis of where we're going, what we're doing, and hopefully see you on the next podcast. Frederick Weisgivers, episode 199, and we are out!